Man, it's tough out there. It's starting to get a lot tougher. By the day, it gets tougher, seems like. Tough to get by. I mean, what is inflation now? 13 to 44%, depending on what item we're talking about. I mean, some of it is 200% if we want to throw the outliers. And some of it is 3%, like the government would have you believe. This is going to be a shocker to you. The government is known to lie about everything, but there is no mistaking. It's getting tougher to get by day by day, and it's going to continue. The trouble with that is, by and large, generally speaking, this right now, today, is the best it's ever going to be. So they're fudging the numbers. Well, there's a big shock. But you know, there's some other numbers being fudged, and I'd like to talk about those here today. Just recently, I watched it's a compilation thing here on YouTube about TikTok. Some people griping about inflation, and I guess you can gripe. I gripe too. I love to gripe. I mean, I'm excellent at it, to be honest with you. I don't know that I could be a professional. I've never been paid to gripe. But if there was such thing, you're looking at it. Reel after reel. These people are complaining. You know how much it costs to eat at McDonald's now? I'm going to answer that for you personally. I have no idea. And you know why? Because I never go there. Ever. Used to, once in a while, when I was, really needed a punch to the gut or a colon cleansing, I'd stop in there. Or I'd be so dang tired at the end, it's like, heck with it. Let's go get some cheap cheeseburgers from freaking McDonald's. About 1/8 of an inch thick, smeared across the old paper wrapper thing. They were $1.99, I think. Had a whole separate menu of things that were 99 cents. I'll pay that for some garbage to clean out my bowels. Sure. Around about 2019, we wheeled in there one night, and I think I ordered 2 Big Macs. And that was it. No drinks, no fries. I don't know. They may have as well have said $56,000, 11T2. And I said, I'm not paying it. They're Big Macs. They're not food. And I drove away, empty-handed as I came. Hadn't been there since. And so I skipped all the getting COVID through the drive-through window, and getting the hairs and the spittle and everything else. I'm not missing a thing. But the lies in the matter, every time I go out driving, every one of these drive-thrus, at least where I live, they're jammed full. People waiting in line for coffees and hamburgers and gourmet dingleberries. I don't know what you're eating. I don't care. That's your business. I'm just saying that there's lines a mile long. If it's so exorbitantly high, stop going. And one of 2 things is going to happen. See, I told you I like to complain. Number 1, they're going to lower the prices. They'll have to. Or, number 2, they'll go out of business. Either way, you're a winner. Because you didn't pay those exorbitant prices. Let's don't lie about it. Another deal on this compilation thing, the TikTok inflation, man. Gal was talking about it. She used to make a Target run every so often. You just get bored sitting around the house. And I'm not going to lie about it. I have done this. It's been many, many years ago, but I'll go for a drive. If I get incredibly bored and I'm feeling really lazy, I'll go out and burn some gasoline. It doesn't bother me a bit. But she said she used to go on Target runs and get a couple things here and there. And the truth of that matter is you never should have been doing that to begin. You're just buying things to be buying them? Let me guess. Holiday wreaths? Trinkety knickknacks? Well, she brought up the children because the children... And she can't even get her kids a coloring book. I mean, she could, but it's just so expensive. And if your kids are anything like mine were when they were young and of the age for coloring books, they colored in about 2 pages. The whole rest of the book was blank. Maybe get those out and whip them out. Here's the thing. You could cut out the pages that they'd previously colored. They'll think they're getting a brand new one. These kids don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. Why don't you use up what you have? Different lady said she could no longer afford to get her hair appointment. And she talked about having bleached white hair for years and years. And then she'd been doing highlights in her hair since she was age 12, and she just can't afford it because they want $100 for that. Why were you ever doing that? What's wrong with your natural hair color? That's what God gave you. Something wrong with that? And also, how long are you going to play that game? Are you going to be the 82-year-old lady with jet black hair? Still, I'm young at heart. Can't afford shoes. Another fellow was griping about shoes. Except everywhere I look, people have brand new shoes on. I do splurge on tennis shoes. You kind of get what you pay for, sort of. They were they were closing them out. And I didn't want something that made me look like I was ready to go to the moon. So when I get my shoes, this last time, man, these things are $85 for these Vietnamese, made out of orphan tears and used prophylactics. And I bought 4 pair of them because they weren't going to make them anymore, apparently. That was a splurge. Ain't going to lie about it. But I will not buy another piece of footwear for 5 years. I don't care if I got to put pieces of plywood on my feet. But everywhere I look, people got new shoes. New cars. Do you know what the price of a new car is? I do not. Because I don't go look at them. Because I know I can't afford one. Even if I can, I can't. I'm not paying that. There is no current existing law that I'm aware of that says you have to drive a new car. Well, reliability, I'm not going to put my wife and kids. When I was married, I did buy one new car after everything crapped out in the late 2000s there. Cars got fairly affordable, and I did buy it on that one. 0% interest, didn't cost me anything. I ended up losing the thing in divorce anyway, and it was a sucky car. That aside, there's no law that says you have to buy a new car. Why would I put myself in a position to go look at him and smell that intoxicating aroma and then start wanting one? And I start trying to trick my mind, not even consciously maybe, tricking yourself into thinking, well, I can do that. I can pay for that. But why would you? You're going to give $70,000 for a pickup truck? I don't know what they are now. I don't care. Can't afford one. Plenty of solid used vehicles out there. They all break down. All of them. All of them will need some work from time to time. And then, of course, we have tuition fees. And the payments, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. I never went to college. Seemed like an awful lot of money. And because, for me personally, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do one thing the rest of my life. So no point in going to college for it. But all these people apparently went to college and racked up untold thousands of dollars worth of debt. And turns out people want their money back. Is it a sham? Absolutely. Is it way overpriced? Absolutely. Did they not give you something to sign on the way in saying, yeah, I'll pay you back with interest, by the way. Taxpayers on the hook, better get to paying. I don't have any sympathy for that. None whatsoever. Unless you're a doctor, lawyer, there's very few specialty trades you need a college education for. The rest of it you can get online. Cost you little or nothing. Or pay as you go. The college experience. I mean, if the college experience is so great that you're willing to go in debt for 120 grand for it, must be awesome. I guess I missed out on that. I don't think I did. But you go ahead and do what you want to do. Just don't expect me to pay for it. That's fair. Are you getting the shaft with these prices, with this inflation? Yes. Yes, you are. So am I. The food companies came out and said they netted $2.2 billion with a B dollars in profit. Was it last year, last quarter? I don't remember. Now, this is net. This is after everybody's paid all your overhead costs, your shipping costs. So you don't have the excuse of, well, the fuel is just so high that it's just, we had to raise prices. No. This is net profits. And boy, they cleaned up. So yeah, they're putting the old screw to you. You got to eat, rent, housing, through the roof moon charts off of them. Somebody that knew how to speak well should have done this. You want to feel a screwing? Be a young man. Be 20 years old and try to get insurance for an automobile on your own policy. You'll know all about screwing then. And that has always been that way. That is nothing new. Is it right? No. Is it fair? No. Is there anything I can do about it? No. They make you have insurance. You got to have it if you want to travel. So what is the point of all this? There's an awful lot of things you can be doing as an individual to lower down your cost of living. And yeah, that's what you're looking at now, because it's bad and it's going to get worse. May as well start now. I don't understand the boomers or anybody else with these 3,000 square foot houses, and there's just two of them. A lot of times just one of them, because they got divorced. One of the most costly endeavors you can do. Be that as it may. You got two people living. Well, the grandkids come over every, second weekend. The kids, they can sleep on the floor. If, you give up your bed, you take the couch, put them on the couch. I don't know, do whatever you want to, but you don't get to play both sides of the coin. Should you have to? No. Are you going to? Yeah. So you might as well start getting ahead of the curve now and figuring out ways around this or through it. I wish I could tell you that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I wish I could lie to you and say, well, if you vote for somebody with an R in front of their name instead of a D in front of their name, it's all the same club. You're not going to get anywhere with that crap. You may as well figure out now how you're going to make it, because you're going to have to live. And this business of living in the folks' house, living in their basement, folks are going to die at some point. And then there's the other people that are smug, and my house is paid for. Yeah, insurance costs are going through the roof. Now, that isn't mandatory unless you owe on the house. But taxes will be the thing. And as more and more people start burdening the system, they're going to need more and more tax money. It doesn't matter anyway. They want a piece of that pie, and they're going to get it. So what happens when you can't afford the taxes? You lose your paid-off house. You don't ever truly own anything in America. It's one of the beauties of the system. Not really. I'm sorry. It's a harsh truth. You may as well get used to the idea. And start coming up with a plan. You don't have to do it overnight. Start coming up with a plan. How am I going to get through this? How am I going to maneuver my way? The system wasn't designed for you to succeed at it. It just wasn't. Never has been. You're just getting aggressive with it now. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that's kind of what I do. I don't know. I do appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed the video, even though it's hard to enjoy something so negative. I do appreciate your time, though, and I will see you next time.